Well, welcome to our first ever community virtual forum. It's interesting. This week, with our campus kind of closed down, um, not technically closed, I'll get to that, but all of our classes are virtual. Um, every class is online right now, including the labs, and most of our employees are working from home or confined in their offices but not greeting the public. We're honoring the requests that we've been given from our governor to do some social distancing, to deliver our education online, and to not meet in groups greater than 10. So that kind of put us in a whole new spot. And last week was our spring break. Yesterday, the first day back after spring break, and the campus is very quiet. Yesterday, we decided to do our traditional forum with our faculty and staff, but to do it online. And so we actually had two forums online with faculty and staff, and we had one forum with our students. Interestingly enough, we had more participants in those forums than we would have normally expected. There's something about being online that makes it more convenient for everyone. And then this is our second forum today. So we're making history in this beautiful building that was first constructed by our founders almost 125 years ago. Wouldn't they be surprised if they knew back then that we would be delivering education and forums to our community and to our alumni and students all around the world? Well, there's a whole lot of things that we can visit about, and I'm sure that the number one on your list is this coronavirus. It has been number one on our list for the last several weeks. I would encourage you that as we go along to submit questions. I have a little laptop right here, so if you see me look to the side, I might be reading questions. I've got some things that I'd like to tell you, and then as we go, I'll make sure that we answer all the questions that you might submit. Let's talk for a minute about what the university is doing relative to the coronavirus. And how all of this happens, and what about our students, where are they, and everything else. So for us, this all really began quite a long time ago when we had a group of students who were in Italy. We have this program that's kind of an immersive program for students, and 33 of them and some of their faculty members during this semester went to Italy. Their plans were to study in Italy and Austria and other places being led. But when this coronavirus started occurring in China, we immediately gathered a team on our campus together to analyze what was happening, to get the best information possible, and then help us make decisions about what we should do with any students, including these students in Italy that are traveling abroad. And fortunately, we got a little bit ahead of all of this and brought our students home. These are students from Utah. These are our local students who were traveling to Italy, not Italian students. But we got ahead of this and were able to bring those students out before the major problems occurred in Italy. At the time, they were studying in a part of Italy that didn't have the coronavirus issues. But these students are students who didn't have housing in Cedar City. So I think we had one of the 33 students that's from Cedar City. The other 32 students were from Salt Lake and Provo and places further away. But they didn't have housing here. So when the students came home, they immediately went to the only place they could, which was home. So none of our American students who were studying in Italy, except for the one who lives in Cedar City, returned to Cedar City. But once they came back, we requested that all of them and the faculty that were traveling with them do the same kind of stay at home for 14 days until you know that you're safe. So far, and it's been more than 14 days, no students at SUU no students have been tested positive for the COVID-19. We're grateful for that. Students at 3 of the other universities have tested positive, but nobody at SUU. And I think it's helpful to tell you where our students are. So it's really pretty quiet, you know. We've had a whole lot of challenges because every single day it seems like we get back together again, analyze what's going on in the world, and then make the decisions that we need to for that day. And as this has developed, those decisions come back again and again as we go from encouraging our students to come back to, well, maybe we're not encouraging them to come back to, well, now we have to cancel commencement. So this continues to evolve. If you'd like to keep up on everything that we're doing, just go to the suu.edu website and you'll see there a link for the coronavirus response. And you can see all of the frequently asked questions, you can submit questions, you can see all of our press releases and the videos, things that we've created, so that you can be up as much as anybody else is on what we're doing. Well, so let me run through a couple things. We're not having commencement as we normally would. It's been postponed. And the reason why we postponed commencement is because the governor told us that we were going to act as a system. And then from the governor's office and our commissioner's office, the choice was really taken away from us. We don't have a choice about that. We can't have groups that big gathering. The second thing, and we're going to have commencement probably later in the summer. We're going to find another day so that we can have a great celebration. The second thing that's interesting is that all of our education is being delivered online. So our labs and our classrooms are all online. We still have some flight instruction that's going on, so you may see some helicopters. But that's one student and one faculty member, and we've kept that going. But other than that, all labs and all classrooms are being taught virtually online. And our students know that they do not have to be on our campus through the rest of the semester. This is not really a decision that we made. This was a decision that was made for us. Again, we're following the instructions that we have from Health Department, the CDC, and the state. So we're doing our very best for our faculty members to teach online, and the students are learning online, and this is what's happening in every college and university in America. From the smallest community colleges to the biggest research universities to the Ivy Leagues back east, everybody is doing exactly the same thing. So we do have some students still in Cedar City, but most of them have returned to their homes. The students that are here, our housing is still open because some of our students don't have anywhere to go. So our housing is still open for them, and that means we have some of our food services still available to serve them. Our tutoring center, our mental health counseling, all of these services are still available for students, but they're almost all available online or remote. They're doing it online or by telephone or some of these other programs. So we're still offering every service that we have, that we can. Of course, the fitness center is closed. The PE building is closed completely. And we're looking forward to the day in the near future when we can reopen all of that. We're very sensitive to the fact that there are 2 trains of thought, and it's impossible for us to make everybody happy. There's a whole group of us in the community that are worried about the coronavirus and don't want any of the students to be here during this time. They went away for spring break and come back, and we just think that's not terribly safe. We know that there's that group. And then the other group that is, but our economy is dependent on them, and we need them here in order for us to survive, in this little short disruption. And so we're doing our best to balance both sides of this, but in truth, most of the really big decisions are already made for us. Teaching online, encouraging our students to go home, and postponing commencement. All the details are left to us, but those big ones were made for us. You may see still a number of our international students in town. We have 851 of them. Some of our students are from Italy. Some of our students are from China. Those students were here before the coronavirus outbreak occurred. Those students didn't cause this. They didn't bring it over to America with them. As I mentioned, nobody on our campus has been tested positive with the coronavirus. You might see, if you're out and about, you might see some of our Asian students with masks. For a lot of us in America, that's kind of a surprising thing. But culturally, for them, it's very common. When I go to China or Japan or Korea, it's very common for me to see students or old people, young people, children, moms, dads walking around town with a little, like a surgical mask on. They really do that for a couple reasons. Sometimes they do it out of politeness, because maybe they have a little bit of a cold and they don't want to spread it. So this is a really polite thing that they like to do. But a lot of them do it because they don't want to catch what someone else has. So they're doing it as a personal protection. I was out late last night, and as I came back, I met 3 of our Chinese students, and all 3 of them were wearing masks. And none of the 3 of them were sick. They were just doing it as kind of a self-precaution. So don't assume that there's an issue with them. It's a cultural thing, and it's actually a beautiful, very courteous thing that they're doing. A number of our international students have gone home, and a lot of them have stayed. One of the things that we're encouraging our own students, our faculty and our staff, and we'd appreciate it if you could join in with us. These students didn't cause this problem, and they didn't bring the virus here, and they're healthy, but they're a long ways from their mothers and from their fathers, and this is sometimes a challenge for them during these times. One of our students that's here from Italy has a family member back home in Italy who's sick, and she can't get back there to be with her family or to comfort them, and it's a lonely time for a lot of these students. So to the extent you can, find a way to be extra nice and supportive of those students, and even the students that are from other parts of the United States. It's what's so great about this community, and it's what's great about this university is that we take an extra effort to be kind and caring of each other. I'm looking at a question that's come in regarding aviation. We are taking this is not a question. This is a statement, probably from somebody in our aviation department. Regarding aviation, we are taking extraordinary measures to prevent spreading COVID-19. Everyone entering the hangars have their temperatures taken. After each flight, the cockpit of every plane and helicopter is decontaminated and cleaned. When I walk around town, I see a whole lot of people standing closer than 6 feet apart. Those in our airplanes are not 6 feet apart, but there's only 2 of them, and a lot of efforts being made to keep them clean. And of course, those students and the faculty members teaching in the helicopters and airplanes all have the option, if they choose, to not participate until this is over. So it's only the students that want to or need to. And you know, a lot of these students are veterans. They're not 18-year-olds. They're mature adults that have fought in wars around the country, around the world, conflicts around the world. Anyway, that's our flight program. Let's see, what else have I got to tell you? So on the one hand, we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're treating our students in the community as safe as possible. We're encouraging all the same things that everyone else is: 6 feet distance, no more than 10 people in a group. All of our education is being delivered online. We've encouraged our students to go home where they can be supported by their families and be safe. We're doing all those kinds of things. On the other hand, we recognize that we have a role to support this community. And one of the ways we support this community economically is through our students and our programs. It's a huge stimulus economically for all of our small businesses. And so we're doing everything we can to continue that support. If you'll look on the feed, the screen below my image, you're going to see a website. It's a link to our Rural Services Small Business Center. So you can see that link, and it lists everything that we're doing. Just a ton of things. So, for example, if you call them or contact them through email or through phones, they can help you understand the kind of federal aid that's available if your business needs that, or if you think it's a possibility for you. They can help you with all of those resources and how to make contact. This is the SUU Business Resource Center, www.suu.edu/business/BRC/. They can help you figure out what kind of federal resources are available and how you can apply for those things. They've got survival tips on how to work through these kinds of disruptions, which we all face from time to time. And what I love is we've got a series of, let me pull this up because I want to read to you a few of these. We have a series of training programs. So perhaps your business, let's assume maybe you've got a dine-in only restaurant, and so because of this disruption, you're closed for a month or two, or you have some workers that can't do any work. This might be a great opportunity to take some time and go to some of these really short-term training classes. Normally we charge for these classes, but during this period, we're offering this for free. And you can see all these on this web link. But here's some examples. Lighting the Flame, Leadership and Project Management, Team Building, Group Dynamics, Principles of Ethics at Work, Introduction to Physical Management, Read All About It, Media Relations and Grandma Requests, Administrative Law, Public Management, Culture and Style for Leadership. There's a whole list here. Time Management. If you've got workers that have some downtime, this might be a great opportunity to let us help you in developing some of their skills. Those are examples of some courses. We've got a really neat program that helps with remote work. So we have this program where we're teaching professional development for businesses about how they can do, have their employees work remotely. This is really one of those new, exciting kinds of programs where people in Cedar City can work remotely for companies that might be in LA. I have friends who live in small towns who are lawyers working for big city law firms. They get the pay of the big city firm, but they get to live in a town like Cedar City. A whole lot of people are taking advantage of these things. So this is one of our programs to help train employees who might be interested in working remotely for companies out of the area, or for businesses right here in Cedar City that would like to be able to have their employees work remotely, either as a way to save costs on not having to build big office spaces, or for lifestyle choices of your employees that would prefer to work at home. So that's one thing that we've got available for you. And again, check this link. Another one that I've mentioned is that we've got a lot of resources that we're aware of that we can help apprise you of and help link you to them, federal resources and others. As I mentioned, some of this professional development that's available. So some of the other things that we're doing is we're trying to provide restaurant support, help with entrepreneurial activity, communications, all those kinds of things. Our Board of Trustee chair, who grew up in Beaver, and his wife grew up here in Cedar City, said that one of the best times for him as an entrepreneur is when he had a significant health challenge and had to be in bed for a while. And he said that that downtime was time that kind of forced him to spend some quiet time thinking, and that was probably his most creative time. And out of that came some really neat business ventures that he pursued. So, like you, we are disappointed. We miss our students. We miss that personal engagement. It feels awkward to me to not shake someone's hand or give someone a hug when I greet them. But despite that, we are by nature optimists. And by nature, we're looking for the opportunities that are coming our way, or that we might be able to seize in this downturn. And so let us know how we can help you as you try to work through this. How is this going to affect the Utah Summer Games? That's a question that just came in from one of you. We had a couple summer game events. One of them is wrestling. I'm trying to think of the other one. Water polo. So wrestling and water polo, we should already be competing in those events, but we have canceled those. Most of the rest of the events, we're still really hopeful that they're going to all go. We're hoping that this is mostly worked through before the bulk of the summer games. So our encouragement to you is to sign up. If for some reason we have to cancel any of our games, we'll give full refunds for everything, but please sign up, because we're planning on it happening. And we're looking forward to when this all blows through, having a great time re-engaging in summer games and our Shakespeare theater and everything else. And we're looking forward to athletics starting up again. All of our spring training has been canceled. As you know, all of our spring sports and the spring championships have been canceled. We'll re-engage all of that come fall. I'm looking here at my notes to see if there's something else that I wanted to mention. SUU has a very active emergency management team that's been working, and we've engaged with the Iron County Emergency Management Task Force. So we're all working together as a community to be able to respond and do the best that we can through these kind of disruptions in our lives. I should tell you that this is one of the great new pieces of information from SUU. What's hot on our list? One is we have a new building. The Utah legislature has funded $45 million for us to construct a brand new building. It's going to have our art and design department, our mathematics department. It's going to include a new film studies program that we're just starting. It's going to have some of our aviation faculty members, and it's also going to have history, anthropology, and social work. So it's going to have humanities and arts and math and some technical programs all mixed in it. It's a 90,000 square foot building. To give you a context for how big that is, 90,000 square feet is larger than our Sherritt Library, which is 82,000 square feet, and it's larger than our general classroom building, if you know which one that is, up on the east end of our campus. That classroom building is 56,000 square feet. This is 90. This building is going to be on the east side of 800 West, across the street to the east from our stadium parking lot, next to the America First Event Center, and west of the multi-purpose building. It's an L-shaped building, 3 stories, so it's not going to take up all that grass. We're able to put that on that spot and maintain a lot of that green space. We're building a new small parking lot next to it, so we're not going to lose any parking spaces. What excites us about this, beyond the fact that we're getting a new building, is that this is going to relieve some of the parking pressures that we have on the east part of campus. This building is being planted on the west side of campus intentionally for parking. This is the motivation to do it. If it wasn't for parking, we probably would have stuck it up on the east side of campus. But by putting it on the west side of campus, we're going to relieve some of the pressure of parking in our east parking lots and in the neighborhoods on the east side of campus, because now students will be using this very underutilized stadium parking lot, because that'll be closer. Human nature, we always park in the closest parking lot to the building where our day begins. So this is going to be a great addition to the community. It'll go out to bid in a couple months. We'll start construction sometime this fall, and it'll be ready to occupy by January of 2022. So we're about, what is that, a year and a half away, a little bit more than a year and a half away from it opening. This is our Founders Week. This is the week that we normally have these great celebrations, and Mindy Benson, our Vice President for Alumni and Community Relations, and her team had put together a spectacular week with our Founders Celebration dinner and awards banquet, and the little tours around campus for students where many of you in the community come on and help tell the history of SUU. Just a whole lot of wonderful activities. All of those have been canceled because we can't meet in groups. But we're doing these virtual activities, and this is one of them. So, by the way, this is my 5th virtual forum, and what you can't see is Nikki Coons and her team on the other side of the camera, all seating 6 feet away from each other. At least they're all 6 feet away from me. Great resource. We've been thinking that this is the kind of thing we should do regularly, because we actually get more participation on these virtual forums than we do on the face-to-face forums. It's just far more convenient to be able to do it at home while you're doing whatever you're doing, and listen in and submit your questions. So we'll keep doing all of these. I keep glancing over and making sure that we answer all the questions. If any of you have any additional questions about anything, whether it has to do with our response to the coronavirus, or our international students, or summer, or anything, just let us know. Submit those right now and I'll answer them. I'll give you some fun facts. Last fall we had 12,210 students. That's 50% up from 5 years ago. SUU is the fastest growing university in Utah. Of those students, 851 are international students from about 54 countries around the world. We love these international students. They help us get a more global understanding of the world. We get to learn about their culture and they learn about ours. They all take home with them this special experience that they've had in Cedar City with you, our wonderful community members. A lot of them are staying in your homes. For those of you that have opened up your homes, to let them stay here. But that's really a significant part of our education, is having these students here. The kids, I shouldn't say kids, but the students that attend Southern Utah University are going to find themselves working in a very global world. And it's a great advantage to them to be able to engage with students from other countries. So 12,210 students in fall semester, 851 international, 1,720 of the students are online only students. So these students are spread out from Virginia to Salt Lake City to California, international places. And we're continuing to grow our online presence. And we're doing that because we know there's a lot of people who cannot give up their day jobs, and a lot of people that can't move to Cedar City to go to school. So these are programs available for anyone in the community because it's done on your time. 3 years ago, we had one bachelor's degree program online, fully online, and 6 master's degree programs. Now we've got 46 different programs available online. That's 46 master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and some of the bachelor's degrees are, for example, a bachelor's degree in business management, and we have 3 emphases. So that's 3 different programs. We've got a lot of these programs, so you may want to check those out. I have my very first ever virtual Board of Regents meeting. Yesterday we had online forums. Today we're having online forums. Tomorrow we're meeting with our Board of Trustees online in a virtual meeting. We'll do all of our business online. And then Thursday and Friday we're going to be meeting with the Board of Regents. Their normal meeting scheduled for Thursday and Friday that we were all planning to go up to Salt Lake for. I now get to stay here in Cedar City and do the meeting from my office. I'm sure that I'll be just great, but I could actually wear a tie and a shirt and my pajama bottoms if I want, because they'll only see this much of me. But I'm really actually quite excited to be able to do this meeting online. Thursday, I have about a 10-minute presentation, and the rest of the day I just sit in the room and listen. So now I get to sit in my office and work all day, listening to the meeting as it goes, but working away. And then when my time is up, then I can engage it. So it's really productive for me, and it's productive for all of us in rural Utah to be able to have it as convenient for us to meet in Salt Lake as it is for the people that live in Salt Lake. So every day this week, I'm having these meetings that are virtual and online. Thursday and Friday, the Board of Regents, I expect, are going to approve the tuition increases. And I'm pleased to tell you that they will be, we're expecting, that they're going to approve, as we are requesting, no tuition or fee increases for SUU, even though they'll be increasing tuition for all the other schools. When I came to SUU 6 years ago, one of the messages I heard from you, from our faculty and staff, was that tuition was high enough. So since I've been here, we have not raised tuition. For the first 4 years that I was here, the state required a small tuition increase that we didn't have a choice over. But we could have raised tuition more than that, and we chose not to do it. And then last year and this year, the state isn't requiring any small tuition increase. They're just leaving it up to the universities and colleges to bring our own proposals. And last year we requested no increase, and this year we're requesting no increase. So we're doing our best to keep costs down and be careful with our budgets. This is really important to us to be good stewards of the public money and to help students get into and complete their educations. Question just came in. Who should we contact if we have community questions and concerns after the forum? I would encourage you to get a hold of Mindy Benson. You know where her office is. She'll be there part of the time, and she may not be available all the time, but call in. We should post online right now what the phone number is, so it should be up. So just call in to Mindy's office, and she can answer any questions. And if it's a question she doesn't know the answer for, she can get it for you quickly. One of her jobs is to make sure that the university is supporting this community in every way possible. And since she has taken over this role, we have dramatically improved in our communication with you. This forum, an example of one of those things. And we've also significantly increased the resources that we have available to support local families and businesses. So that's the best place to go to with questions. I'm looking at my screen and I don't see any more questions posted, and this is about how much time we thought this might take. So I just would like to reiterate again how grateful my wife Kathy and I are to be living here in Cedar City, working with Southern Utah University. This is the greatest community. We've never lived in a better place in our lives. So happy to be here. We're converts to Southern Utah University because neither one of us attended as students. But we think this is the very best educational experience that you can get in the Intermountain West, bar none. Everything we do is laser focused on helping students be successful, and that is borne out. One piece of evidence that supports that is that we've grown by 50% in 5 years. Another one is that our retention rate over the last 4 years has increased by 13%. Nobody in Utah is seeing that kind of improvement in their retention rate. And when I say retention rate, what I mean by that is the percent of students who come as freshmen and then return the second year to keep moving towards their bachelor's degree or their associate degree program. It's been an exciting, very, very exciting time for us. And we think that the best is yet to come. So as we close out this little community virtual forum, here live from Old Main on the campus of Southern Utah University in the beautiful community of Cedar City, we just tell you our future is bright. Thanks so much for supporting us and being with us here tonight. And we'll do this again. We'll do this again. Thank you. Good night.